So, my target's the Nintendo. My target game is Super Mario Bros. 3. My goal is to find a new exploit in Super Mario Bros. 3. My constraints are only connected to exposed ports, no interference between the cartridge and the console, and the NES imposes certain constraints on us as well, which are that we can't press up and down or left and right at the same time, and there's this DPCM audio bug that's kind of annoying, but we work around it. So I'm using the TASLink board. Here's a live demo. Brace yourself, this is hilarious. So this time I'm going to get the full screen console up, and I will allow you guys to enjoy what happens next. Okay, I gotta try that one more time, and I need to turn my audio down and this audio back up. Alright, let's try that one more time. Okay. I forgot to start the script. Start the script. Hit play. We'll get it. Here goes. Nah, that's still not behaving right. Yeah, it's like there's random garbage left over here. Let's try this one more time. It says ready to run, but I don't entirely believe it. This worked the first time I tried it at the event. Okay, there we go. Now we're behaving. Alright, so... yeah. For anybody who's joining fresh, there's a lot of hilarity going on here. This is all the work of Mastergen based on shell placement ideas from Total. What Mastergen's doing right now is literally moving shells around to write shellcode. It's a bad pun, but that's okay. So, where he kills them sets one memory value, where he flings them off the screen sets another, and the result is... Yeah, I love this music. And this loader is pretty impressive. Total worked hard on this. But I'm going to stop talking so that you guys can enjoy this transition.
我曾经跨过山和大海，也穿过人山人海。我曾经拥有着的一切，转眼都飘散如烟。我曾经失落、失望、失掉所有方向，直到看见平凡才是唯一的答案。
So I'm going to turn that down. This song in particular was especially a surprise for the Chinese audience because even the judges and the people at GeekPone had no idea that this was going to happen. Fuzzle was able to take this song, compose it into NSF. Yeah, most people are not familiar with this song. I was specifically able to seek out a former coworker, a former colleague of mine who happens to live in Shanghai. And I'm going to move over so I can actually see what I'm doing here. I lost my mouse pointer, though. There we go. Um, yeah, I'll just use this one for now. So, the fantastic coworker of mine from Shanghai was able to talk to her about, hey, this is what I want to do. I need a song selection. She said, I've got the perfect thing. There's a movie that came out in 2014 called The Continent, and it has a soundtrack, a song in the soundtrack called The Ordinary Road. And it's very, very recognizable in China. I'm like, perfect. And hey, it even sounds halfway decent, even when you're just listening to the simple intro. And in fact, that turned out to be a huge benefit because Fuzzle was able to take this and really do something, I think, pretty impressive with the unlimited amount of time he had. So, I'm going to turn this volume down a little bit, and let's walk through what we actually just did, because there's some insanity going on here. Let me see if I can get... I know one of these is... Nope. One of these... There we go. I knew I had one. I made too many layouts. I'm going to go through the live demo really quick, or explain what we just did. So, this was a multi-stage exploit, and a number of people who are currently in the channel helped with this. Codeworks is the one that made the script that you see running on the screen now. You can see these characters here on the screen. This is what allowed Mastergen to easily figure out where to line up the shells. The script just uses values designed by Total. So we're using SoloScript. We're literally writing shellcode by placing these shells in the right order. It's kind of a funny memory order, but all it really amounts to is a jump to the subroutine that does that reads. Oops, jumps to the subroutine that reads the controller. We store that data in a register. Increment which memory value to write to the next time through, and if there's been no button presses whatsoever, we go jump to the area of memory we just ran. So it's a very simple, small loader. I'm going to turn this music all the way off. Since you guys have had fun with music in the background, I'll keep it going, but we'll be rehashing some stuff that you guys have already heard. And I'll leave the volume really conservative. So, the first stage was done by moving shells around. Then we take advantage of this DPCM audio conflict. And basically, the problem is that if DPCM audio is playing at the same time it's reading the controller, they kind of collide on this open bus because of a really absurd reason that I only fully understood. Excuse me. I only fully understood at a hardware level a couple of days ago. Turns out that one of the other chips has to deliberately mess with the processor, the main CPU, that's the 6502, in order to get the data on the bus right. Anyway, there's information on the NES Dev Wiki, but long and the short of it, game devs have to work around this by reading the controller twice and comparing the result against the previous read. Well, we take advantage of this, and we keep making it read over and over again. So we press alternating patterns of buttons on each pole. So the first time we send all the odd bits, you might say, and not all the even bits, is one way to phrase it. This eventually keeps the game so busy that it ends up overwriting the stack with safe garbage. And when we stopped sending alternating button presses on a very precise frame, it forces execution of the stack to start executing the opcodes we wrote in stage 0. So it literally runs the location of the shells that we placed earlier as code. So we execute shellcode with this method. And this is a very simple routine. It stores filtered controller values at 60 bytes a second. So that's stage 1. Stage 2, we take it a little bit farther and really expand our control of what we can do. So we want to get rid of this restriction that we've had of not being able to press left and right or up and down at the same time. So to get around that, the second stage loader disables the interrupts entirely, pretty much ignores the existing NMI code, and it allows us to write arbitrary values, and we store 128 bytes at 1.75 kilobytes per second. The stage 3 is a high-speed block loader. It executes the controller values that we ran earlier. It rapidly reads just one controller, only one controller, just the first one, at 7.2 kilobytes per second. And get this, we don't have any extra normal RAM hanging around, so we literally overwrite the battery backup area of Super Mario Bros. 3, which is completely insane. It turns out that two different games, and I'm going to show you. So this is a spare copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. This actually belongs to the Axeman, and I'm thankful he gave it to me. But Super Mario Bros. 3 does not have the logo on it that a game like Kirby's Adventure does. Kirby's Adventure has a warning sticker on the back saying, hey, make sure you power this off safely, because if you don't do it in the right order, you could destroy data. Well, both of these games have SRAM. This one is battery backed. This one is not. So, Super Mario Bros. 3, no warning, still has the SRAM in it. The game normally uses that memory for its own purposes, but we decided to use it for our own purposes. So it gives us 8 kilobytes that we can write a payload into. So, stage 4, I'm going to turn the volume down for a sec. Stage 4 executes the controller values from stage 3. It initializes a Famitone music player. That's what allows us to play the new... it basically loads an entire music engine because we can't easily use the one from Super Mario Bros. 3. That allows us to rewrite the NMI code to remove unneeded code at the same time. This payload also does some other funny things. Eventually, it enables the PPU and NMI after it loads the data, and it displays this demo scene you see here. And it's using Super Mario Bros. 3 assets, because the only graphics we can easily get access to are the ones the game already has. So this is actually piecing together parts of the funny triangular texture you see on the starting screen. Let's see, I'm doing ISF again. That one's fun. I like this song. This one also has a lot of silence in the beginning. And yeah, I'll be talking over this guy's words, but that's okay. So that's stage 4. Now stage 5 is where things get really nutty. Oops, let me move my mouse cursor. So after a set amount of time, it's about 56 seconds, we transition to this new screen. We stop the normal NES music entirely and transition to only DPCM audio, the 5th of the 5 channels that we can mess with. We connect 4 NES cables using a Y cable mechanism. So basically we tell it has a multi-tap on each port, but there's only controllers on the first 2. We then start sending data at 520 kilobytes per second using a very, very careful encoding, because we have to take the data that's coming in on those 4 different data pins and rearrange them in memory in this really weird way. So if I show you this script that does the conversion to the format we're using, it looks absolutely insane. It looks like the data is completely scrambled, but it turns out sending it in this bizarre scrambled method does it in an order that allows us to do less work on the NES, and that's what allows us to get the 52 kilohertz audio. We finally shift those values into memory, which creates valid PCM audio, and the last bit out of the 8 bits we sent is used as an emphasis bit to change the tune, or change the screen you see. That's what's causing the bizarre flashing pattern. So I'm actually going to stop the presentation here, because the rest of it is really a rehash of the same things I had done at my DEF CON talk. And we also did a chat with Pokemon Plays Twitch, and I set up the TASBot.net site to point directly to the TASBot channel on Freenode to allow the people in, or the viewers or attendees in China to get past the Great Firewall of China, which has a tendency to block access to Freenode. So this gave us an ability to have anybody connect without registration and get directly into the TASBot channel, TASBot Freenode IRC channel. And it was very well received. We had some great questions over IRC. I did the same thing as I did at DEF CON. Am I cheating? No. I'm doing this for technical challenge and visual entertainment. I'm also doing it because these various different events have helped raise over $200,000 for charity. And I'm going to leave this screen up for a good long time because everybody on this screen deserves a ton of thanks. Total was immensely helpful in what he was able to do. I can't even begin to say how much work he put in. It was just an insane amount. Fuzzle did the audio rework you saw. Micro 500 helped work out scripts and made the TASLink board behave for what we needed. Ilari was a ton of help in just advising us. Excuse me. Ilari was a ton of help in advising us on the best way to eke the last little bit of performance out of it. P4 plus 2 helped a little bit there too. Lord Tom came up with the original Mario 3 DPCM audio glitch based on an idea from AIS 523. Onosaurus did a ton of scripting work. I mentioned earlier Codeworks did the Lewis script. Assassinator is my wife. She was absolutely amazingly supportive in allowing me to go to China for so long. So worth it. I don't know how many people are still watching the stream because the chat's been really quiet, but I do want to share that being able to go to China and attend along with very talented hackers like George Hotz. Geo Hotz is well known for being the first person to compromise the PlayStation 3, and he also was the first person to jailbreak and root the iPhones. He was there at the event with me, presenting right alongside me. I can't say he gave a great talk because it was mostly him talking about himself, but I asked him how it went afterward, and he said, "It was horrible, it was awful." But Geo Hotz is a fun guy to hang out with. He's a ton of fun. There's another guy that I presented alongside that I'm not worthy of being on the same level of. It's a guy named Steven, and he's in a wheelchair. Half of his brain doesn't function due to a very unusual brain disorder. He's in a wheelchair. He cannot talk, but he can hear, he can see, and he can sort of jab in the general direction of a keyboard. And he was able to present a really compelling talk on hacking a wheelchair. He literally has the ability to hack the wheelchair he sits in. It's just insane. I'm just going to keep the music going, but at a low level. There was another exploit done by a team out of, I want to say San Diego, but I could have that state wrong. They demonstrated playing Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. On a PlayStation 4. It was the first full exploit of a PS4. It was demonstrated at GeekPone. So, Invarial, you're mean. So, this is where I get to show you the awesome. There was a judge panel. Even though I wasn't a contestant in the hacking competition, they felt it appropriate to denote that the talk that I gave, based on all of the other people who have helped make it possible, was worthy of a prize. And I want to show you what that prize is. God. All right. Here's the prize. This thing weighs about 18 pounds. It is unbelievably heavy and says GeekPone around the outside edge. Yes, it is a grenade. The award we won was not showing up on the screen very well. I can't get it to line up right. Oh, I can't get the light right. Anyway, it says Geek Thinking. It's the G Thinking Award. Yes, this is a grenade. Yes, airport security absolutely would not have liked this if they had noticed it. Fortunately for me, I got it all the way to through to San Francisco, and that was my last stop. You're surprised they let me board the plane? I cannot tell you how surprised I was that I was able to get this into checked luggage. A couple other people who presented and also won awards continued from SFO on to San Diego. And the exact conversation went something like this. All of us somehow managed to get ours into checked luggage. We don't really know how that managed to happen in Shanghai. But we got out of Shanghai, we landed in SFO. I departed at SFO and went up to Petaluma where I live. But at least one guy who was heading to San Diego went through the airport security scanner for checked luggage. They looked at it and went, "Are you effing insane? You can't bring that on a plane." So, yes, it really does look like a grenade. It's not a grenade. It's fake. It weighs as much as one. So, I want to say everyone who helped contribute, this was amazing. It was absolutely astounding. And I have one more bit of pride to say. I don't yet have this in hand. It's always possible it's a bunch of baloney. But I have been told there will be a monetary award, and outside of the costs that we spent on getting I'll show you what I mean in a second. Outside of the costs of things like these visualization boards, all the cables, the TASLink stuff, outside of just covering equipment costs, everything else beyond that we will receive from the GeekPone award, we will be donating during Awesome Games Done Quick 2017. So keep your eyes open for a reasonably hefty donation during the TASBot block on behalf of everyone who helped contribute to this event. I'm super happy with how it all turned out. I can't say enough about how many hours people like Micro 500 in total put in. Onosaurus to put in a ton of time, Ilari, everybody, you guys all know who you are. And for everybody who's watching the stream, thank you. It's been an honor representing everyone who put all their hard work into this. Yeah, it's just been amazing. Oh,